So this is some extra help on your IXL Bb2. So I'm just going to go in here and I'll do several with you guys. All right, so axis of symmetry. That's what they're asking me for here. The formula for axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. So my equation that they gave me, all right, so what I'm going to do is remember this, whatever's in front of the x squared is a, whatever's in front of the b, the x is b, and if we had a number here, like a plus or minus number here, that would be c. So the a is 1 and the b is negative 3. So now we're going to plug that into the equation. Negative, because we have a negative already, b, which is negative 3, over 2 times a, which is 1. So I just plugged in the b, which was negative 3, and the a, which was positive 1. So a negative and a negative, that makes that 3, positive 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. So the answer is just going to be 3 over 2. What? That's what I put, 3 over 2. Okay, well, this is a good lesson. It says the correct answer is 3 over 2, and I put 3 over 2. I guess I didn't type it in correctly. I don't understand what I did wrong. Oh, there it is. I understand what I did wrong. I talked about this in the video the other day, that you have to write x equals 3 over 2. I just wrote 3 over 2, but we need to write x equals 3 over 2. Okay. See, that's important why it's for me to read it. Okay, the y-intercept. Now that's something that actually I didn't go over in this first video, but last week we talked about it. The y-intercept is always going to be, so if you had something that looked like this, I'm writing it down right now. The y-intercept is always going to be this number, the plus or minus number on the end. So since we don't have a plus or minus number, it's just going to be 0. So now the axis of symmetry again. So now I know that I'm going to put x equals. So the equation that I've been given is a is the number that's in front of the x squared, and b is the number that's in front of x. So a is 1 and b is negative 2. So x equals negative b over 2a. So that would be negative 2 over 2 times a, which is 1. Negative 2 makes that a positive 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 over 2, we can reduce it to do 1. So I'm going to write x equals 1. Oops. All right, so this one's an easy one, the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is just the plus or minus the number on the end. So it's just going to be 4. All right, axis of symmetry again. So writing my equation, y equals x squared plus 6x. A is going to be 1 and b is going to be 6. So x is equal to negative b over 2a. So negative b, which would be negative 6, over 2 times a, which is 1. So negative 6 over 2 is equal to negative 3. So remember to write x equals negative 3. X equals I'm an idiot. -3. All right, the minimum is another word for vertex. So vertex is where you do the axis of symmetry first, and then you plug that in. So I'll write my equation down, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay. So A and B. A is +1, B is -1. So first, I have to do, you must do axis of symmetry first. Even though they're not asking it for us, we have to find that in order to find the minimum. So x is equal to -b over 2a. So -b, which is -1, and 2 times a, which is +1. And I want to go over, we know that b is -1 because there's a negative in front. So then this would become +1 on the numerator and 2 on the denominator. So that's x. X is equal to 1/2. Now I'm going to plug that in to the formula, the original equation, to find y. So y is equal to 1/2 squared minus 1/2. I just plugged in 1/2 for x. 1/2 squared is 1/4 and minus 1/2. So 1/4 minus 1/2 is -1/4. So now I write that as an ordered pair. My x was 1/2, and my y is -1/4. And that is your answer, 1/2 and -1/4. I wonder if they want me to write it as a parentheses. Oh my gosh. Well, this is annoying. So all they really wanted from me was the y value on that. They didn't want my x. They only wanted the y. I was being too specific on telling you the exact coordinate, but they only wanted to know how tall it was, and the height is the y value. So that's good to know. So whenever they're asking for the maximum or minimum, they only want the y value. All right, so now they give us an easy one. The y-intercept is just the last number. So it says this was a -1 on the end. I'm going to write -1. All right, vertex. That's that specific one that I just did a minute ago. So I'm just writing my equation for a second. Okay.